Jai Shri Ram, Sat Shri Akal, and greetings to everyone from wherever you're watching. And this game is special because this is a massacre. Because this game was played in Tillburg. This game is Interpolis 4th, and this game is played between two former world champions. And with the white pieces, we have Mikhail, and against him is another world champion, and his name is Boris Spassky. So definitely one of the two legends, and it's gonna be one hell of a clash. So I'm not gonna keep you waiting for long. Without further ado, let's start with this game. Tal is with the white pieces and he's ready for a fight, so he starts with e4, and we have e5 on Boris, and we have knight to f3 but just knight to c6. And now we have this bishop to b5 but just a6, going for Morphy's defense, and we have bishop to a4 but just this knight to f6, going for this Columbus variation, and we have this castles but just bishop to e7 preparing to castle, and we have just rook to e1. This main line of the real pays, and we have b5, finally pushing the bishop back, and just bishop to b3 but just d6. And now the most played move in real pays, we have c3 but just castles by black, and now finally going for this h3, not allowing that bishop to be developed easily, and we have knight b8, not a move that's been played very often. You want to push that pawn, but you don't want to play this knight to c6 and then again knight to b8. But well, let's see how Tal deals with this. Tal goes for this d4, finally going for that central thrust, and we have this knight bd7, just removing that knight, and we have knight bd2 but just this bishop to b7. And now you know where that knight is going, so here bishop to c2 but just finally this rook to e8. And up until now, all moves were fine. Here, just nothing new. This is Euro Pays, and the main line was being played. Here, a few more moves in this theory, and here rook to e8, but just going for this knight to f1. Just main line. You want to develop that knight. You want to develop that knight either to g3 or to e3, depending on the position. So here, bishop to f8, just that bishop is gonna act as a very nice defender of the game. You could also play a move like g6 in the future, get that bishop being ghettoed, and have that bishop very nice along this diagonal. It will accompany in the future, but here just knight to g3, and just finally going for this g6, just going as planned, and we have this a4. Finally challenging those queenside pawns as well, and we have c5, finally pushing that central thrust and the move that was planned all along by going for that weird maneuver. So here just d5, not allowing any trades to happen in the center, keeping the position closed, because when you want to attack on the king side, you don't want your opponent to have any play on the queen side. So here just c4 was played, just closing in further in the position. It seemed like a bad move as you're going with white's plan, but that was the best move in the position. So here just bishop to g5, just locking in that knight. You cannot move that knight, it's been pinned, and here just h6, pushing that bishop back, and you cannot move it here, so you're gonna have to move it back. So here just bishop to e3, but just here rook to b8. And now finally going for this queen to d2, just putting extra pressure on that h6 pawn, and we have this h5, playing a move like a passive move like king to h7, but just pushing that pawn further. And we have this knight to g5. Slowly but surely you can see that Tal's pieces are very much into the attack. You can see that these bishops are absolute monster. Knight is already in the field. You have to just play f4 and open the position, and that's exactly what Tal will do in the future. Here knight to h7 was played, but now we see trade. Knight captures, king captures, but just this rook to f1, and we have this king to g8, king goes back, and again a prophylactic move, king to h1. Fine, you always want to play that king to h1 move, especially when your opponent has a dark squared bishop, so this diagonal never becomes a problem. So here after bishop to g7, now before the storm, you go for this a captures, and after a captures, now finally executing that f4, and here probably something that Spassky should have avoided was he went for this e captures on f4, and this e captures definitely is not gonna serve him well, because here bishop captures was played, but now just queen to e7. And this position is definitely very much rich. As Spassky wanted to play on the queen side, he cannot in this position because there's not much going in the queen side. You can push this b4 anytime, but that's not going to do you any well. While Tal has all the pieces he needs to attack on the king side. He can always push this pawn. This bishop queen battery is always that good. He can always sacrifice this knight to open lines. So Tal's position is much better, and he's definitely going to take advantage of it. Here Tal, he goes for it. He goes for bishop to g5, just attacking that queen. And now we have queen to e5. There was no other square for queen to be safe and to be active. So here just rook to f3 was played, but now this rook to a8, and here rook a to f1, not trading pieces. You're the one who's attacking, you definitely don't want to trade pieces. And here the best move for black would have been f6, just pushing that bishop back, but then you're going to face this bishop to f4, and after queen to e7 you have this beautiful move, which is this e5. And now there's a lot of choices that you can do. You can go for this d captures, you can go for f captures, you can go for knight captures. So if you decide to go for this d captures, then you have this bishop move, and after you see your trade, now you see that this pawn is very weak, and that's definitely going to fall, and only move is queen g7. And here definitely this pawn is going to fall, and queen captures, bishop captures. Now you'll see that you have to move the rook, and this pawn is going to fall, and after the knight captures it, this pawn is threatened, and there's no actual way to defend that pawn. And after that there will be a wall against the king, so king cannot come and defend it as well, and this battery is going to be too much overpowering. So you cannot go D captures, but what about F captures? If you go for this F captures, then you have this bishop to G5, and you can see that unfortunately for black, queen is trapped. There's no moves for the queen, so you cannot go here either. So the only real move is this knight captures, and that gives some chances for black, but definitely that's not going to be enough, because here after bishop captures you have this queen captures, but now comes bishop captures on G6. That pawn is definitely going to fall. So here after queen captures on T5, now you go for this queen to F2, just finally going for this triple battery. I mean, this is just too strong. And here after queen to G5, now you go for this bishop captures on E8, but now not recapturing, but going for this bishop captures on F3. And after rook to E1, just defending that bishop, you have this H4, just attacking that knight. But here after queen captures on F3, you have queen captures on G3. And now if you're thinking about capturing that rook, you have to be careful, your own rook is hanging as well. So here what you should play is queen to D5 check, and only after the king moves, now you play this rook to G1. And now you can see that your rook, and here you cannot even capture this, because here this check and this geometry is very much working in your favor. So here you have to move the rook away. So here rook to B8, but now you can see that the queen is already on a central square. Yes, your rook and king are a bit tied down, but only person who's going to have a bit of an advantage in this position is definitely going to be white. And in Tal's hand, it's definitely going to be winning. But that was the best that black had in this position, but instead black went for this rook to F8 and everything falls. And Tal, he's definitely gonna spot it. Tal immediately jumps in the action and he goes for this spectacular and one of the most beautiful moves, but I'm not gonna tell you this right away. You're gonna have to find it on your own. So pause the video and try to find the most amazing move that crushes black in this position while I give you a couple of seconds. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is the one most spectacular sacrifices ever. You have this knight captures on H5, and there's pretty much nothing to be done here. Either you can just leave the knight there and you lose your bishop pair, or after that you have lost a pawn. So the best thing is just to take the knight, but even if you do that, it's not much better, because here if you go for this G captures, which was played in the game, you go for this rook to F5, and now your queen is under attack. Here Spassky tried queen to E8, but now comes this E5. Again, that central thrust that proves fatal, because here this bishop comes alive and it's very much impossible to do anything in this position. So here D captures on E5 was played, but just this bishop to H6, just trying to get that queen into the game after the trade takes place. So here rook to A6 was played, but here just bishop captures, and after king captures, now this rook serves as a very nice defender. So now all you have to do is just cut off that rook, and Tal does it nicely. Tal goes for this spectacular D6, and now that rook has been cut off, and now this rook battery and queen is going to jump in as well. I mean, this is all looking very much fatal. And here F6 was tried, but now one of the most beautiful moves is this rook to G5 check. And unfortunately for Spassky, you cannot even capture that. If you go for this F captures, then this queen captures, and it's a simple mate in two, because you cannot even block. Here queen captures, and this will be checkmate. So instead Spassky tried running away, but it's just too late, because here king to F7, but now comes the amazing check, bishop to G6 check, and you're parting ways with your queen. So here king to E6 was played, but not even capturing the queen. Tal just enjoying his position, goes for another check, bishop to F5 check, but now king to F7 as there is no other move, and here again queen to D1, waiting to see if Spassky would make another mistake, and Spassky goes for rook to H8, trying to defend that pawn, only move, but now again bishop to G6, and now you're parting ways with your queen. So here king to E6 and queen, bishop captures queen, and now rook captures, now you go for this queen captures on H5, and here again unfortunately for Spassky, this rook cannot be captured. If you go for this, then just queen captures, and after king captures on D6, you go for this rook to D1 check. Fortunately, you have this defense, but again queen to G6 check, and you're parting ways with another rook. So here Spassky tied rook to D8. His position is lost, but he's still gonna try anyway. But now just rook to G7, and here after king captures on D6, just queen to F7 was played, and it was on this move, on move 44, that former world champion Boris Spassky resigned the game. Tal got his brilliant victory and definitely won this massacre. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming up with another amazing game from Chess World, so stay tuned for that, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you all.